As we prepare for Christmas, we need to remind ourselves that there are usually people around us God will want us to remember and extend a hand of fellowship and love as the spirit of the season encourages us to. The genealogy of Jesus is not a list of perfect people. Hidden inside it are stories of scandal, pain, faith, courage, and redemption. Today, we explore 5 women in the lineage of Jesus, women whose lives were marked by controversy, yet chosen by God to shape salvation history. It is indeed one of the most striking features of the Gospel of Matthew. In a culture where genealogies were almost exclusively patriarchal lists of men begat by men, the inclusion of 5 specific women is a deliberate narrative choice. These women were not the matriarchs you might expect. Sarah, Rebecca, or Leah are absent. Instead, the text highlights 5 women who were outsiders, scandal-marked or vulnerable. Their presence signals that the story of Jesus is one of grace that operates not in spite of human brokenness, but through it. Here are the 5 women in the lineage of Jesus and the scandals they carried. 1. The scandal of desperation. The story. Found in Genesis 38, Tamar's story is grim. Widowed twice by 2 of Judah's wicked sons, she was left in limbo when Judah refused to give her his 3rd son, fearing he would die too. Facing destitution and the end of her family line, Tamar took matters into her own hands. She disguised herself as a prostitute, tricked her father-in-law Judah into sleeping with her, and bore twins. The significance? Tamar is often judged for her method, but in the biblical narrative, she is praised for her righteousness. When Judah discovered the truth, he admitted, "She is more righteous than I," because she cared more about the continuation of the family line than he did. She reminds us that God honors the desperate who fight for a future when the powerful have forgotten them. 2. The scandal of the outsider. The story. Rahab was a Canaanite prostitute living in Jericho, a city destined for destruction. Joshua 2. By all Levitical laws, she was unclean spiritually, ethnically, and professionally. Yet, when Israelite spies entered the city, she hid them. She risked her life based on a rumored faith that the God of Israel was the true God. The significance. Rahab represents the enemy grafted in. She married Salmon, an Israelite leader, and became the great-great-grandmother of King David. Her inclusion proves that faith, not bloodline or past profession, is the entrance requirement for God's family. 3. The scandal of origins. The story. Ruth was a Moabitess. The law of Moses, Deuteronomy 23:3, technically forbade Moabites from entering the assembly of the Lord. She was a destitute widow who followed her mother-in-law, Naomi, back to Israel, a land where she was a racial and religious foreigner. The significance. Ruth's story is one of subversive loyalty. Hesed. She proposed marriage to Boaz on a threshing floor, a culturally risky move to secure redemption for her family. She is the great-grandmother of King David. Her presence in the genealogy challenges the idea that God only loves us and not them. She shows that the Messiah is not just a Jewish king, but a savior for the nations. 4. The scandal of abuse and power. The story. Uniquely, Matthew does not name her directly, calling her instead the wife of Uriah, Matthew 1-6. This drags the dark story of King David's sin into the light. David saw Bathsheba bathing, used his royal power to take her, and then orchestrated the murder of her husband, Uriah, to cover the resulting pregnancy. The significance. Bathsheba is often unfairly cast as a seductress, but the text portrays her as a victim of a king's unchecked power. Yet, she survived the trauma and the death of her first child to become the mother of Solomon and a queen mother of influence. Her inclusion stands as a permanent reminder that God is not blinded by the power of kings. He remembers the victims, and he can bring redemption even out of the wreckage of catastrophic moral failure. 5. The scandal of shame. The story. The final woman is the mother of Jesus. In 1st century Judea, a betrothed woman found pregnant before the wedding faced potential divorce, public shame, or even death. We often romanticize the nativity, forgetting the whispers and side eyes that likely followed Mary and Joseph for years. The significance. Mary surrendered her reputation to be the vessel of God. She bore the stigma of an illegitimate pregnancy to bring forth the Son of God. She represents the courage to trust God when doing so costs you your social standing. The theological insight. Why include these 5 women? If you were writing a resume for the Messiah to impress the religious elite, you would hide these stories. You would list only the pure, the noble, and the locally born. By highlighting them, the gospel writer is shouting a theological truth before the story of Jesus even begins. You do not have to be perfect to be used by God. The lineage of Jesus is not a river of pure, clean water. It is a muddy stream of humanity replete with liars, adulterers, outsiders, and victims. This genealogy tells us that Jesus did not come to save us from a distance. He was born into the mess, descended from the mess, and came to redeem the mess. To help us grow the channel, kindly show your support by subscribing, like, and help share. We will see you when we have another encouraging story to share.